The man who was once considered unstoppable suddenly vanished, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Did fame overwhelm him, or was there a shocking personal decision that changed everything? His career was on the brink of becoming legendary in Hollywood, but it abruptly took an unexpected turn. The whispers surrounding his disappearance only grew louder as the public speculated about what truly happened behind the scenes. Some believed it was a crisis of identity, while others thought it was the weight of fame itself that drove him away. Whatever the reason, his absence has left an undeniable mark on the industry, with fans and colleagues still wondering what could have been. Tony Jaa, a martial arts legend known for his jaw-dropping stunts, once seemed unstoppable, but suddenly he vanished from the spotlight, leaving fans wondering why. Was it fame, injury, or something deeper? Stay tuned for the shocking truth behind his disappearance. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more exciting stories. Tony Jaa, a martial arts icon from Thailand, once lit up the screen with his breathtaking stunts and gravity-defying fights, drawing inspiration from legends like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, and Jet Li. His rise to fame seemed unstoppable, but then, at the peak of his career, he vanished. What happened? Did fame overwhelm him, or was it something more? His path, once destined for Hollywood stardom, took an unexpected and heartbreaking turn. What truly happened to Tony Jaa? Stay tuned, because the truth will change everything you thought you knew about him. Tony Jaa, born Tachakorn Yiram in the rural province of Surin, Thailand, grew up in a farming family. His parents, Rinsipit and Thong Diyum, worked tirelessly in the rice fields, instilling in him values of perseverance and discipline. But Tony's dreams reached far beyond farm life. Inspired by martial arts legends like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li, he became determined to not only admire their art but to live it. While other kids looked up to these icons from a distance, Tony trained relentlessly in the fields, practicing punches, kicks, and flips until they were second nature. His childhood dedication laid the foundation for what would become a legendary martial arts career. For Tony Jaa, martial arts was more than just fighting. It was about discipline, precision, and self-expression. His formal training began at the age of 10 when he started learning Muay Thai at a local temple under traditional masters. Lacking access to fancy facilities, Tony relied solely on his relentless determination, building the stamina and skills that would define his future. As he grew older, he competed in local Muay Thai matches, gaining recognition in his community. But Tony had bigger dreams. Inspired by his idols, he saw an opportunity to blend his martial arts expertise with cinema, aiming to carve out his own legacy on screen. Tony Jaa's breakthrough into the film industry came when he caught the attention of Perry, a legendary stunt coordinator and director. Recognizing Tony's raw, untrained talent and unwavering determination, Perry invited him to join his stunt team. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of Tony's rise in the film world, setting him on the path to becoming a martial arts icon. Tony Jaa spent 14 years honing his skills as a stuntman, immersing himself in the dangerous and often overlooked world of action. He performed jaw-dropping stunts, including doubling for major actors and even jumping onto elephant backs for commercials. Each stunt pushed his limits, but Tony mastered every challenge, refining his craft for his eventual breakthrough. His time as a stuntman wasn't just about physical endurance. It was also a valuable education in filmmaking under the mentorship of Pan. Tony trained in various martial arts, including Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Judo, and Aido, learning how to make action sequences cinematic. Unlike many fighters who transitioned into acting later in life, Tony's approach combined realism with the finesse of action choreography. His fearless execution of high-risk stunts, often without wires or CGI, set him apart, making him a rare and exceptional talent in the industry. After years of pushing the limits behind the scenes, Tony Jaa finally got his moment to shine, and when it came, it was nothing short of explosive. The release of Ong-Bak, Muay Thai Warrior in 2003, marked a pivotal turning point in Tony's career, catapulting him from an unknown stuntman to an international martial arts sensation. The film was a game-changer, unlike anything audiences had seen before. Tony performed all the stunts himself, no wires, CGI, or stunt doubles. Gravity-defying flips, lightning-fast strikes, and bone-crushing knee and elbow techniques captivated action fans worldwide. The raw, instinctive energy of Ong-Bak set a new standard for martial arts cinema, earning Tony global recognition. He wasn't just a promising fighter or stuntman anymore. He had become a leading figure in the new wave of action films. After the success of Ong-Bak, Tony Jaa solidified his status as a martial arts legend with his next major film, Tom Yum Goong, released as The Protector in the United States in 2005. In this film, he took action choreography to new heights, incorporating a unique Muay Thai style inspired by the movements of elephants. The standout moment of the film was a breathtaking 4-minute, continuous fight scene set in a restaurant. This legendary sequence became iconic in martial arts cinema, showcasing not only Tony's physical strength, but also his unparalleled ability to maintain high-impact action in a single, uninterrupted shot. His performance in The Protector set a new standard for action films, influencing other stars like Donnie Yen, who later admitted that Tony's work inspired him to elevate his own fight choreography. With his newfound global fame, comparisons between Tony Jaa and martial arts legends like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li became inevitable. Fans and critics alike began to see Tony as the next big action star capable of taking martial arts cinema into a new era. His explosive style, deeply rooted in his traditional Muay Thai background, offered a fresh and powerful realism to fight choreography that captivated audiences worldwide. His raw, unfiltered approach to action, combined with his relentless dedication, led many to believe that Tony was the future of martial arts cinema. Tony's approach to martial arts action, raw and grounded in realism, stood in stark contrast to the high-wire, stylized action often seen in Hong Kong cinema. Hollywood quickly took notice of his unique talent, with directors and producers eager to bring him to the global stage. Jackie Chan himself recognized Tony's incredible skills and wanted him to join the cast of Rush Hour 3, presenting a golden opportunity for Tony to further break into Western cinema. However, a scheduling conflict with Angkor 2 forced him to miss out on this breakthrough chance. When Tony Jaa returned after his time as a monk, Hollywood took eager notice. His breakthrough films Ong-Bak and Tom Yum Goong had already made a significant impact internationally, sparking interest in bringing his unique martial arts style to a global stage. Producers saw him as a potential action star, possibly following in the footsteps of martial arts legends like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li. His first major Hollywood opportunity came with Fast and Furious 7 in 2015, where he starred alongside Vin Diesel and the late Paul Walker. This high-profile film introduced him to Western audiences, but despite the excitement surrounding his participation, his role in the film was relatively small. Although there were some memorable fight scenes, including a particularly intense showdown with Paul Walker, many fans felt the film didn't fully tap into Tony's potential. While it was a step into Hollywood for Tony, it also revealed the challenge of integrating his distinctive style into an established, larger franchise. Still, the role marked a significant milestone in his career, bridging the gap between Eastern and Western cinema. Tony Jaa continued to push into Hollywood with XXX, Return of Xander Cage in 2017, joining a star-studded cast that included Vin Diesel and Donnie Yen. Once again, there were high hopes that this could be his big break, but much like his role in Fast and Furious 7, Tony's presence didn't command the same attention he had garnered in his iconic Thai films. The over-stylized choreography and heavy reliance on CGI in Hollywood action films were a stark contrast to the raw, wire-free, and realistic action sequences that had made him a household name in the martial arts world. Many of Tony's fans felt that Hollywood struggled to properly showcase his unique talents, often relegating him to supporting roles rather than giving him the opportunity to take center stage. Despite the high-profile nature of XXX, Tony's role was overshadowed by other action stars, and he never received the spotlight he once enjoyed in his own films. The transition to Hollywood proved to be more challenging than it had been for legends like Jackie Chan or Jet Li, as Tony struggled to break through in a way that allowed him to fully express his potential as a martial artist and action star. Language became one of the biggest challenges for Tony Jaa as he ventured into Hollywood. While he had spent years perfecting his physical abilities, the transition to acting in English presented a new obstacle. By 2014, Tony had become proficient enough to handle interviews in English, but many felt the language barrier limited the roles available to him. Hollywood action films often require heroes who are not only physically capable but also quick-witted and comfortable in dialogue-heavy scenes. Unfortunately, Tony's fluency in English wasn't at a level where he could fully embrace roles that demanded substantial verbal exchanges. Unlike Jackie Chan, who cleverly used humor and developed a unique niche in Hollywood, or Jet Li, who was often cast in roles that capitalized on his stoic and mysterious persona, Tony frequently found himself relegated to roles with minimal dialogue. This forced him to rely almost entirely on his fight scenes to convey emotion and character, limiting the types of roles he could take on and making it difficult for him to showcase his acting talents beyond the action genre. As a result, his performances in Hollywood often felt constrained, lacking the free-flowing, nuanced qualities that had defined his earlier work in Thai cinema. Another significant factor that hindered Tony Jaa's career in Hollywood was his long-standing struggle with Saham Manal Film, the Thai studio that had bound him for many years. When Tony finally broke free from his contract in 2013, it came with heavy consequences. The studio retaliated fiercely, attempting to block his participation in Fast and Furious 7 and even demanding a staggering $50 million in compensation for his release. This legal battle not only limited his ability to work with Western productions but also severed his ties with the Thai film industry that had initially made him a star. Although Tony continued to work on projects like Skin Trade, Never Back Down, No Surrender, and Triple Threat, none of these films could recapture the level of fame and recognition he had once enjoyed. His reputation as an action star had faded, and the creative freedom he sought remained out of reach, as he found himself trapped in a legal and financial web that prevented him from fully capitalizing on his potential. Despite his best efforts to stay active in the industry, Tony's career trajectory was stunted, and he struggled to reclaim the global prominence that his early films had earned him. What Ong-Bak brought to Tony Jaa's career was undeniable. It catapulted him into the spotlight and set a new standard for martial arts films. His raw, wire-free stunts and fierce fight choreography made him an international sensation. However, despite Hollywood's interest in bringing him to the global stage, it failed to offer him the creative freedom and lead roles that could have truly cemented his place as a martial arts icon. While Hollywood projects like Fast and Furious 7 and XXX, Return of Xander Cage showcased his undeniable talent, they didn't fully leverage his unique abilities, leaving many fans wondering what happened to his legacy. Despite this, Tony Jaa's influence on martial arts cinema remains profound. He redefined what was possible in action films, inspiring a new generation of martial artists and filmmakers with his commitment to authenticity and his boundary-pushing fight sequences. Though his Hollywood journey may not have unfolded as expected, Tony Jaa's impact on the martial arts genre continues to resonate, solidifying his legacy in cinematic history. When Ong-Bak was released, it was nothing short of revolutionary. The film reshaped the action film landscape by bringing a level of realism and intensity to fight choreography that had never been seen before. Tony Jaa's explosive style, deeply rooted in traditional Muay Thai, introduced audiences worldwide to a raw, brutal form of fighting that stood in stark contrast to the more stylized, wire-assisted action that had been popular at the time. His fearless approach to stunts, performing them without wires or CGI, set a new standard for authenticity in action films. Veterans of the industry, such as Donnie Yen, openly acknowledged the profound impact Tony Jaa had on their own work. They admitted that watching Jaa push the boundaries of what was possible in martial arts cinema challenged them to refine their own action sequences and elevate their choreography to new heights. Tony Jaa's presence on screen was a wake-up call, reminding everyone of the power of real, visceral combat and solidifying his legacy as a true game-changer in the world of martial arts cinema. The raw, wire-free action that Tony Jaa brought to the screen truly set him apart in an era dominated by special effects and highly choreographed, almost dance-like fight scenes. His fearlessness in performing jaw-dropping stunts and gravity-defying moves without the aid of wires or CGI infused a refreshing sense of authenticity into martial arts films. For a time, Tony Jaa was seen as the heir to martial arts legends like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. His dedication to realism, combined with his fierce Muay Thai style, made him a rising star who seemed destined to carry the torch for martial arts cinema into a new era. Fans and industry insiders alike believed that Tony had the potential to become the new face of action films, bringing a level of intensity and raw power that could rival the greatest martial arts icons of all time. Tony Jaa's rise to fame was hindered by significant issues with Saham Manal Film, the Thai studio that controlled his contracts and limited his career opportunities. His role as director for Angkor 2 and a subsequent retreat to a Buddhist monastery also disrupted his momentum, further distancing him from the industry. When he finally broke free in 2013, much of the film world had already moved on. Although he made the jump to Hollywood, Tony never received the same level of creative control that martial arts legends like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan had. As a result, he struggled to maintain the global impact he once had. Despite his undeniable talent, the industry's shifting landscape made it difficult for him to regain the same prominence, leaving him to navigate a path that didn't fully showcase his potential. Tony Jaa's career seemed unstoppable, but behind the scenes, troubles were brewing. His relationship with his mentor, P. Ree, who had discovered and trained him, began to sour. Despite the success they had shared, growing tensions started to affect their professional collaboration. P. Ree's tough mentorship had pushed Tony to achieve greatness, but it also created friction as Tony sought more independence and creative control over his projects. These underlying conflicts were just one of the many challenges Tony faced as his fame grew, and they ultimately played a role in the unexpected twists his career would take in the years to come. Creative differences began to arise between Tony Jaa and his mentor, P. Ree, leading to growing tension that affected their collaborative work. One of the most significant consequences of their strained relationship was the cancellation of a highly anticipated project that could have propelled Tony further into the global spotlight. While both Tony and P. Ree kept the details of their rift private, it was clear that their fallout had a lasting impact. The tension between them marked a turning point in Tony's career, one that would shape his future choices and challenge the path he had once taken alongside his mentor. As a result, Tony found himself navigating an uncertain future, dealing with the professional and emotional consequences of this split. Tony Jaa's career, once soaring, began to face a series of obstacles, with the most significant being his restrictive contract with Sahong Film Thai Studio. The studio, which had helped launch his career, controlled nearly every aspect of his professional life. From managing his schedule to dictating the film roles he took, and even controlling his earnings, Tony found himself increasingly limited. Despite the massive success of films like Ong-Bak and Tom Yum Goong, the financial and creative rewards didn't align with his global fame. He was one of the most in-demand action stars of his generation, but his ability to steer his career was out of his hands. This tight grip from the studio prevented him from exploring opportunities outside Thailand, even as Hollywood came calling. With growing tension between him and the studio, Tony's professional future became uncertain, leaving him yearning for more creative freedom. The pressure of juggling multiple roles on Angkor 2, both as an actor and director, became increasingly overwhelming for Tony Jaa. The demanding production process, combined with the intensity of overseeing such a large-scale project, began to weigh heavily on his mental and physical health. Amid the chaos, Tony disappeared from the set for several weeks, sparking rumors that he had suffered a breakdown. In truth, Tony had sought refuge in a Buddhist monastery, stepping away from the relentless world of filmmaking to find peace and clarity. This hiatus, though largely misunderstood by the public, was a vital retreat for Tony to reconnect with himself and regain his sense of balance. His decision to step back from the industry marked a significant turning point as he confronted the immense pressures and the toll they had taken on his personal life. Tony Jaa's sudden disappearance sent shockwaves through the production of Angkor 2, leaving the studio grappling with delays, mounting frustrations, and the immense challenge of finishing the film without their lead star. When Tony eventually returned to the industry, the complications didn't simply disappear. His time away had only deepened the rift with the studio and left him to confront personal struggles that had been brewing during his absence. Despite his return, Tony's future in the industry was uncertain, marked by a turbulent journey in a world that demands not only physical prowess but also unyielding mental endurance. Tony Jaa's decision to break free from his restrictive contract with Saham Manal Film in 2013 was a courageous and decisive one, but it came with a heavy cost. The studio, unwilling to let go of their prized star, fought back aggressively. They sought to prevent his participation in Fast and Furious 7 by demanding a staggering $50 million to release him from his contract. This intense legal and financial battle left Tony in a tight spot, effectively blocking his path to international opportunities. Despite his efforts to break into Hollywood and Western cinema, the damage was already done. The momentum of his career had slowed, and he struggled to recapture the magic that had once made him a global sensation. His dream of becoming a worldwide action icon was derailed by the very contract that had initially propelled him to fame. In 2010, at the peak of his career, Tony Jaa made a shocking and unexpected decision that left fans and the industry in disbelief. Overcome by the overwhelming pressures of his career, constant disputes with his studio, and the emotional strain of his fast-paced lifestyle, he chose to walk away from it all. He left behind the limelight and retreated into a Buddhist monastery, embracing a life of peace as a monk. The same man who had once stunned audiences with his gravity-defying stunts and fierce martial arts now sought solace in meditation and self-reflection. It was a profound and dramatic shift from his action-packed world. But for Tony, it was a crucial step towards finding inner peace and spiritual renewal. His time away from the film industry gave him the space to heal, reflect, and reconnect with his true self. Tony Jaa's decision to become a monk in 2010 sparked widespread speculation and intrigue. Some speculated it was a reaction to a mental breakdown, while others thought it was an escape from the mounting pressure of his contract and the demanding film industry. However, in Thai culture, becoming a monk is often a respected tradition, particularly for men seeking personal growth and spiritual enlightenment. It is viewed as a way to honor one's family and gain wisdom. For Tony, this choice seemed less about fleeing his troubles and more about reclaiming his peace of mind. Stepping away from the spotlight, he found solace in the temple, which offered him the rare freedom to meditate, reflect, and reconnect with his true self. It was a space where he could be free from the constraints of fame, contracts, and the relentless expectations that had long shaped his life. During his time as a monk, Tony Jaa embraced a life of simplicity and discipline, focusing on prayer, meditation, and living in alignment with the teachings of Buddhism. While he never directly tied his retreat to the struggles he encountered in the film industry, many believed his decision to step away was closely linked to the pressure and tensions from his battles with Sahamanal film, as well as the constant demands of fame. His sudden disappearance from the public eye only heightened fans' curiosity, sparking numerous rumors. Some speculated that he had permanently walked away from acting, while others believed he was taking time to heal and prepare for a major return. The mystery surrounding his departure kept people guessing, but it also provided Tony with the rare opportunity to find peace and clarity, away from the relentless pressures of the industry. As the years passed, the Thai film industry underwent significant changes, and Tony Jaa's once dominant presence in the action world began to fade. The momentum he had built with Ong-Bak and Tom Yum-gung slowly diminished, while new stars like Donnie Yen and Iko Uwais rose to claim the spotlight in his absence. Hollywood, which had once eagerly sought to cast him, had moved on, and the martial arts genre itself had evolved, leaving Tony somewhat overlooked. During his time away, Tony devoted himself to self-reflection and spiritual growth, but with the rise of fresh talent and shifting industry trends, he faced the sobering reality of potentially being left behind. Yet, after years of introspection, Tony felt ready to return to cinema. However, the landscape had changed drastically, and so had he. His comeback would not just be a return to the action-packed roles that had originally made him a star, but rather a reinvention of his place in an industry that had moved forward without him. Tony Jaa's return to the action film world was met with enthusiasm, but the reality of his comeback proved to be far more complex. His time as a monk brought him peace and spiritual growth, yet it also resulted in a significant gap in his career. The entertainment industry had evolved, and the martial arts genre had been reshaped by fresh stars and new filmmaking techniques. While Tony had once been a force of nature, the world had moved on in his absence. When he made his return, the excitement was palpable, but it became evident that his legendary status was not easily recaptured. The raw intensity that had once made him a global sensation seemed to have faded, and despite his efforts, he couldn't quite reach the same heights he had achieved with Ong-Bak and Tom Yum-gung. The industry had changed, and so had Tony. His transition back into the action scene wasn't as seamless as many had hoped. While he remained respected for his undeniable talent, the legendary aura he once commanded seemed increasingly out of reach. Unlike Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, Tony Jaa struggled to shape his own narrative in the film industry. He was often confined to roles where the action took precedence, overshadowing the development of his characters. In Ong-Bak and Tom Yum-gung, his characters had limited dialogue and emotional depth, with the focus placed more on his physical feats than on personal stories. This lack of emotional connection made it difficult for Tony to transition into more diverse roles, limiting his appeal beyond martial arts fans. While his fight scenes captivated audiences, the absence of well-rounded characters hindered his ability to showcase the full range of his acting talents, making it harder for him to break into broader, more varied film genres. Despite facing numerous challenges, Tony Jaa's impact on the action genre remains undeniable. His groundbreaking fight scenes and stunt work have influenced countless action films, securing his place as one of the most iconic martial artists in film history. The lingering question, however, is whether, with more creative freedom early in his career, he could have followed in Bruce Lee's footsteps. Did Hollywood support him enough to become the next action legend? While his path didn't unfold as many had hoped, Tony Jaa's contributions to martial arts cinema will forever be remembered. His raw, authentic style and fearless approach to stunts inspired a new generation of filmmakers and martial artists, and his legacy continues to resonate, even if he didn't achieve the same level of mainstream success as some of his predecessors. Tony Jaa certainly faced challenges that held him back from achieving the success of other martial arts legends, but his impact on action films is undeniable. While his Hollywood journey wasn't as big as expected, his legacy continues to inspire. What do you think? Did Tony Jaa deserve more, or has he found success in his own way? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more shocking stories from the world of action films.